most recent our most recent get together. This one is about the computer stuff that everybody gets confused about, and I understand why. Um, we have other CATS presentations coming up, so be sure to check the website for those. The CATS team is comprised of myself, Selena Billington, Jennifer Perez, and Chris King. And so the first thing we are going to do today is the artist data entry program. And I will get that started. Welcome to the overview of the Artist Data Entry Program. The Artist Data Entry Program, also known as ADE, is a web application for the members of the Handweavers Guild of Boulder to manage their inventories for the annual sale. If you wish to participate in the sale, you will need to enter your inventory into the Artist Data Entry Program and print your barcode labels from this application. What is required for the Artist Data Entry Program? Since this is a web application, a web browser is required. The Artist Data Entry Program has been tested with both Chrome and Firefox. Some things to keep in mind for the most trouble-free experience. Use the tested browsers. Other browsers like Safari or Edge may work, but if you start having problems, we will require that you use a tested browser. Make sure that you are using the latest version of your chosen browser. JavaScript and cookies need to be turned on for the site to function. And add-ons can sometimes interfere with the site, so you may need to turn them off. And finally, we recommend but not require that you have Adobe Reader. We have found that printing labels from Adobe Reader results in fewer problems and headaches. The whole process starts in July after you have paid your dues. You will receive an email that contains links to a lot of information about the sale. It will also include information you need to access the Artist Data Entry Program. Because of this, we ask you to keep this email handy. The first piece you will need is the link to the Artist Data Entry Program. The second piece you will need is your PIN ID and your password. One thing I have to mention is that in 2020, we moved the Artist Data Entry Program to a new server. Because of this move, the link to it has changed. If you have any bookmarks to the old link, handweaversofboulder.org/artists, you will need to change the bookmark to the new link, handweaversofboulder.info/artists. To access the Artist Data Entry Program, open your browser and enter handweaversofboulder.info/artists in the address box. This will bring you to the login page where you will enter in your PIN, password, and click on the Login button. The first page you come to after logging in is the home page. This page contains the information that was provided by membership to the Artist Data Entry Program, and it shows that your account has been activated. If your account has not been activated, contact us at salehelp@handweaversofboulder.org. Something else I would like to point out. On each page is a Help tab. You can click on it to get help for that page. The home page is also where you can change your password. To change your password, click on the Change Password button, enter in your new password, and click on the Save button. We recommend that you pick a decent password. Make it at least 12 characters long, use at least one number, a lowercase character, and an uppercase character, and use a password that is unique to this site. Do not reuse a password that you have used on another site. We are now ready to add items. Click on the Add Item tab at the top of the page. There are two types of items, regular items and showcase items. I will cover showcase in a moment. Regular items are all items that will be in the sale but are not part of the showcase. A value in quantity will create multiple labels with the same information, but each will have a unique inventory number. You will need to pick a classification and a technique for your item. Refer to the rules and regulations for more detail. In 33 characters or less, describe what the item looks like. Enter in your price for the item. You need to charge at least $1. You can also have a decimal like $4.99. When you are done, click on the Save Item button. When you have clicked on the Save Item button, you will see what inventory number has been assigned. If your quantity is more than 5, you will see a message that X number of items have been added. If you have any items that you would like to donate to the Strickler Scholarship Fund, enter those items here. You will print and attach tags to these items in the same manner as your regular items. When you go through check-in, these items will be marked as Strickler and will be moved to the Strickler account. I want to expand on the label description for a moment. The description will be used to reunite a tag with the item if they should become separated. If the tag and the item cannot be reunited at the sale, the item will be taken off the sale floor. The quicker they are matched, the quicker your item returns to the sale. Color is very useful. In a multicolored item, there may be too many to fit, so pick a couple of the dominant ones, like red, blue, multi. Pick color names that most people will recognize. Some things like quilt, it may be possible to say blue border quilt. In the example here, look at the descriptions and see of the three which one would be easier to match up with the item. Include the technique only if the chosen technique is not descriptive enough. The technique is printed out on the tag, so you don't need to repeat it in the description. In this particular example, the top one is harder to read with all of the words abbreviated down. I cleaned it up and now say gray handspun children's mittens, because knitting is already in the description of the technique. On the third example, I chose the technique combined techniques because I had both handspun the yarn and knitted it into a hat. So by putting it in the description, I gave more information so that it can be joined up if it gets lost from its item. Include in the description what the item is. Only the classification number is printed on the tag, so descriptions like hat or placemats or pillow are useful in the description. In these examples, someone would need to look up the classification number to tell what type of item it belongs to. Most of us don't have those numbers memorized. This could mean that your item may be off the sale floor longer than it needs to be. Be careful with abbreviations. Don't use them unless you need to. They can make it harder to understand the label. Also be careful with terminology that is specific to your technique. The goal is to have the average volunteer understand and match your tag to the item. In these examples, I'm not sure exactly what they're describing. The final thing I want to say is, do not put your care and content in for the description. Because 1, it doesn't satisfy the Guild's requirements for you to be in the sale. 2, it isn't informative to our customer. And 3, it doesn't help reunite the tag and the item. Care and content can be put on the back of your barcode tag or on a separate tag. See the rules and regulations for more details. And having said that, you can use descriptors like cotton, wool, etc. to describe your item. Next, we are covering how to enter in a showcase item. Before entering items on the Showcase tab in the Artist Data Entry program, You must first submit your item for approval and be accepted into the showcase. When you have received your notification of acceptance, you will then need to add the item to the Artist Data Entry program. Click on the Showcase Item tab. You will not need to add a classification, but you will need to select a technique. See the rules and regulations for more information. The description allows a maximum of 33 characters. You can describe your piece, or if you have titled the piece for the showcase, you can use that title. Price can be $0 to indicate that the showcase item is not for sale. Whatever price you do decide on, make sure that it matches the one that you provided to the showcase coordinator. Click on the Save button to save your entries. To see what you have already added and to manage it, click on the Inventory Navigation tab. Under the Inventory Page tab, you will see the items that you have already added. The most recent additions are at the top of that list. There are many ways you can view your inventory on this page. If you scroll down to the bottom, you will see the total number of items that you have entered in so far. You can also page forward and backward through the pages. If you would like to increase the number of items you see per page, you can return to the top and click on a larger number. This will result in more items per page and fewer pages. You can also click on any of these columns to sort ascending or descending. For example, if you wanted to see all of your classifications grouped together, you could sort by that column. And finally, you can use the search box. This is probably the most powerful way to find an item. You can put in any sort of keyword, such as if I want to find all of my green items, or if I wanted to find all of my hats, because I wanted to find a particular hat. You can also put in an inventory number. To clear the search box, click on the X in the search box. To edit an item, you will need to find the item using any of the methods I just covered and click on its inventory number. In this case, I am going to look it up by its inventory ID. This method is very useful if you use the quantity option to add multiple tags and would like to change the description for each one. To edit the item, click on the inventory ID and it will bring up the dialog where you can make your changes. And click on the Save Item button. Next, we will cover deleting items. To delete items, you will need to go under the Inventory tab and click on the Delete Items Page tab. Deleting items is permanent. It cannot be undone, so be very careful of what you do on this page. Deleting items is simple. Put a check by all the items that you want to delete and click on the Delete Items button. You will notice to the right of the button it will tell you how many items you have selected. To delete all items, click on the All checkbox in the column header. This will select all your items. If you want to clear all the checks, you can uncheck this box. If you have only selected a few items and you want to clear them, check the All box and then uncheck it to clear everything. You can use a search box to filter your items. For example, I have decided to delete all of my hats. I will filter the list by hat and then put a check by all of the items that I want to delete. I don't want to check on the All checkbox because that will select everything in my inventory. Once an item is checked, it will stay checked until you uncheck it. So even though you can't see the item, it is still checked. So if I decide to go look at my towels, you will notice that there are still 7 items selected. And here I can select some additional items. If you click on the Delete Items button while this is filtered, you will get this message. What it is telling you is that the search box will be cleared and that you should verify items before deleting. Because this is permanent, when you do decide to delete your items, you will get this message to verify that you do want to delete these items. If you are not sure, click on the Cancel button. Otherwise, click on the Delete button and your items will be deleted from the Artist Data Entry program. To prepare for the sale, you will need to print out the inventory sheet and the labels for tagging your items. There are two methods for printing from the Artist Data Entry program. The first is to create a PDF, which you will then use to print to your local printer. You will need to supply your own paper and label supplies. The second is to send your print request to the Guild printer. The Guild printer will then print your items and mail them to you. This can take 1 to 2 weeks turnaround. The inventory sheet is the listing of everything you are checking into the sale. It consists of 3 parts. Starting in 2020, the first page is a checklist. Look over the checklist to see if you are ready for check-in. The following pages contain a description for each item that you're planning to bring into check-in. Finally, at the bottom of the last page, it gives the total number of items separated between regular and showcase with the total dollar amount. These numbers are used to validate the number of shifts that you have signed up for. When you are ready to print, you will go to the Inventory tab and select the Printing Options Page tab. As on the Delete Items tab, the first thing you will do is to select the items you want to print. This page works exactly the same. The All checkbox in the header will select everything. The total number of items selected is up by the Submit button, and you can filter the list by putting something in the search box. And as on the Delete Items tab, if you decide to click on the Submit button while the list is filtered, you will get a message that states that the search box will be cleared and that you should review your selections before clicking on the Submit button again. After you have selected your items, you will, under the Select Print option, select Create Printer-Friendly Inventory Sheet PDF, and then click on the Submit button. This will open up a new tab with your inventory sheet PDF. The inventory sheet can be printed directly from the browser as the margins are not as finicky as the labels. Each browser has its own method for printing PDF documents, so you may need to do something different from what I'm about to show you. To print the PDF in Chrome, bring your cursor to the top of the page. You will see a menu drop down and you will click on the printer icon. Select your printer and the print button. This is what your label will look like when you print it out. At the top, you will see your member PIN and name. Below that, you will see the inventory ID, the item description, the item price, the barcode, the technique number and description, and your classification number. There are 3 options you can choose from when printing labels locally. Option 1 is 1 inch by 2 5/8 inch address labels. These are pre-cut labels that are 30 per page. Option 2 is 8 1/2 by 11 inch full sheet label. This is a full sheet label where you will cut your labels apart and there are lines between the labels to guide you. You can also use plain white paper with this option. Options 1 and 2 must be affixed to a 2 inch by 3 1/2 inch business card before attaching them to your items. Labels should be white. Do not cut individual labels into pieces in an attempt to make them fit on a custom business card. and do not cover the barcode with tape, as this will interfere with the scanning of the barcode. Option 3 is to print directly to a perforated sheet of 2-inch by 3.5-inch business cards. The rules and regulations have the Avery numbers for these, and store brands will usually list an Avery number that they are compatible with. To print your labels, you will go to the Print Options tab and select your items. Then you will select under Print Option, Create Printer-Friendly Labels PDF. This will pop up a message that we recommend downloading the PDF into Acrobat Reader and print from it. Downloading and printing from Acrobat Reader gives us the most control over aligning the labels to the label sheets. This is very important if you are selecting the label option of 1 inch by 2 5/8 inch address labels. Select OK to close the dialog. The next thing you will do is to select your label type. In our case, we're going to take the address labels. After that, you will click on the Submit button, which will then open your PDF into a new tab. As with printing, each browser has its own method for downloading PDF documents, so you may need to do something different from what I'm about to show you. To download the PDF in Chrome, bring your cursor to the top of the page. You will see a download icon on that menu. Click on that, and it will open up a dialog for you to save it to your computer. After you have downloaded your file from your browser, you will need to open up the file in Adobe Acrobat Reader. To print, you can click on the print icon in the toolbar. If you do not see the toolbar, you can access printing from the File option on the main menu. For printing labels, these settings are the ones that we have had the most success with. If you are having problems with the labels not lining up, check the manual for your printer to see if there are any special settings that you need to use. Depending on your printer, you may not have all of these options. If your printer has the Print in Grayscale option or a black and white option, turn it off. If your printer has the Save Ink Toner option, turn it off. These first two options can create barcodes that won't scan. Underneath Page Sizing, select Actual Size and choose Paper Source by PDF Page Size. Note, the PDF was created for standard letter size paper, which is 8.5 by 11. You can now click on the Print button. It is a good idea to first print a page to plain paper and hold it up to your label page to see if everything is aligned. As I've mentioned before, the Guild offers a service where a team member of the Sale Technology team prints the inventory sheets and labels for those who are not able to print these for themselves. The Guild does not charge for this, though a small donation is always welcome. To request Guild printing for an inventory sheet, go to the Inventory Printing Options tab. Select the items you want to include, then select Send Request to Guild for inventory sheet printing. You will then click on the Submit button. You will see a message that a print request has been sent. This message also includes a request number. This request number is useful if you need to discuss a particular request with the Guild printer. To request Guild printing for labels, select the items you want to include, and then you will select Send Request to Guild for Labels Printing. Click on the Submit button. And, like the inventory sheet, there will be a unique request number you can use if you need to communicate to the Guild printer. When you get your labels, you will see that they are a single column strip of labels, unlike the sheets that are used for local printing. But like those labels, you will need to affix them to a 2-inch by 3.5-inch business card. When you are done, you can log out from the Artist Data Entry program from any page by clicking on the Logout button at the top of the page. The last topic I want to cover is what you can do if you have forgotten your password. Go to the login page and click on the Forgot Password button. There you will enter in your PIN and click on the Submit button. An email will be sent to the email address that was on file when we sent out your activation notice. This email will include a new password, and you can use that password to log into the site. This concludes the presentation. For more information, you can visit the Guild's homepage at handweaversofboulder.org, and there you can find this presentation and a tutorial you can download. You can also contact us through salehelp@handweaversofboulder.org. Okay, are there any questions? Also, Wendy, can you send me that again? I can't find it in my email. I thought I did, but it's not there.
I'd like to add, thank you, Jana. I want to add that also, if anybody was scrambling to try to write down the URL for how to get into the Artist Data Entry program, you can also get to it by going to the Guild's website and working your way through the sale information. And you can go, there's a link there that will get you to the Artist Data Entry program.
No questions? Cool.
Yes,
Beth.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. I agree.
I've never entered stuff, so I never. If I need help trying to figure out what of my stuff, what category it goes under, I think I thought that was the hardest part to figure out. How do I label what my stuff is?
That question actually works better towards standards.
Okay.
So
Right.
if you have those types of questions, you can talk with Avedon, because standards is what really controls what you decide on.
Okay.
I just give you whatever option and let you figure it out. Which
choose something and hope for the best. Got it.
It can be confusing at times, I know, especially if I've seen it more when we start getting into the newer trendy things, and people will be going, well, what is this, wireless XYZ thing supposed to be?
Okay.
It's also true, Babs, that this year Avedon spent time rewriting the words that describe the classification and the techniques. And so that's new in the rules and regulations. We have new descriptions of the classifications and techniques, and that's appropriate for everybody, even if people have been submitting things for sale for many years, is to look again at those two tables, the two charts of what are the classifications and what are the techniques. But you're always welcome to contact Sale Help, and we can either answer your questions directly or forward them to Avedon if necessary, or something like that. So okay. if you have any trouble either with classification and technique or any other kinds of problems using the program, feel free to contact Sale Help.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else? You're on mute, dear.
Am I up next?
Just a sec. I think Angela, are you asking a question? You're on mute. Okay, Angela.
One of the things I noticed was the description, and you were saying the colors, and do a major color. But I found that if you just take out the vowels, usually you can get a pretty clear, very brief, like black and white,
Yeah.
B and
Yeah,
W.
that's that's good. I just didn't want to get it to the point where it all becomes just all abbreviations, because sometimes that can be difficult. But yeah, I
Exactly.
think color, I think maybe if you can abbreviate maybe 3 of the colors or something, just so that it's not.
Well, with those very variegated yarns, with the
Mhm.
hand yarns, you just find it gets,
Yeah,
there's so many colors, and there's really not one major one. You can say bluish, or you could say pinkish. But anyway,
yeah,
I just noticed that in the years that I've been doing it.
yeah. I just was trying to get away from things where it's just so abbreviated that I don't know what it is. It's like we've had some of those where if it takes too long to figure out where something goes to the tag, I can guarantee they'll get thrown to 2 different areas and it won't get. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah. That's all.
Any other questions? Okay, Wendy, I think we're ready for you. Let me just get this thing started. Got too many things open.
I'm going to try and make mine as brief as possible.
Okay, can you see
Great.
that, Wendy?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Okay, so whentowork.com is the software that the Guild is using in order for everyone who is a member and is planning on being in the sale to use in order to sign up to work during the sale. You cannot get to this website from ADE or from the Handweavers Guild. You have to log into whentowork.com. So once you are logged into whentowork.com, you'll be able to see the actual work schedule. Prior to doing that, though, each participant must be a member of the guilds, be a paid member, and pay no later than at the September evening guild meeting. You need to read all the rules and regulations so that you are knowledgeable about how many shifts you need to work and what you need to do as far as the different jobs are comprised. When you register all your items into ADE, and you'll see the last page of your sheet that you fill out, that will give you that information as far as how many items you have in the sale and what their monetary value is. And those will help you determine how many shifts you need to work. We are still trying to figure this out, but when you put your items in ADE and you know you are going to be participating in the sale, you can either contact me to sign up to be in When to Work. And what you need to give me is your name, your PIN number, your email, your phone and address, and I will enter all of that into When to Work. And then after I've entered it in When to Work, I will have When to Work send you information about signing up to be in the sale. Let's see, can you show the next slide, Jana? If you are working in the sale, you are required to work the maximum number of shifts that are determined either by the number of items you have in the sale or the dollar amount, whichever is higher. So if you have any questions about that, don't hesitate to either call me or email me asking for more information. The number of items that you put in the showcase does count towards shift requirements, but the value of that does not. So that's to encourage people to enter items that they probably wouldn't enter because the item is so expensive, and that the dollar amount of that item would boost you up to having to work more shifts. So we're trying to encourage more people to participate in the artist showcase. If you have any question about how these numbers come about or how to determine how many shifts you need to work, please feel free to call me. Okay, next slide. So how do I sign up for shifts? I will be going into When to Work to create all the shifts that we're going to have for this year's sale. So once I've created that, then I have the Hand Weavers Guild send out a note to all of the members saying that we are publishing the schedule and they can then sign up for shifts. And you will get an email similar to what this says, as far as one that was sent to Mary Beth back in 2015. And see how it says you were not assigned 20 shifts? That's because we didn't sign Mary Beth up for any shifts prior to that, and she has not had a chance to sign up for shifts either. So when you click on this link that is at the bottom of the page to confirm that you have received that email, you will be able to access the When to Work schedule. Okay, next slide. If you are new to the Guild or new to the sale, When to Work will send you a temporary login and password, and they will ask you to change the login and the password to something that you can remember. What you will get from them will be about 10 digits and letters long, and it's hard to remember it. So it's easier if you pick like your name or something simple as your login, and then something equally simple as your password. Once you've changed both of those, you will automatically be guided into the Hand Weavers Guild website that's related to When to Work. And it will ask you if you want to sign up for shifts, and then you can easily go in and see all the available shifts. Each member is asked to work the shifts that are commensurate with their inventory. Each shift that takes place before the sale, so if you want to help out before the sale starts, those are focusing on like checking in inventory before the sale starts, setting up the props, setting up the sale area, and doing other different kinds of clerical jobs. If you want to work during the sale, your work will either focus on working on the sales floor, or you will be working as a cashier or a person who bags the items that the customer has purchased. And then if you want to work after the sale has ended, those shifts focus on either checking members' inventory out after the sale, taking down and returning props to storage, or reconciling the inventory and balancing out of accounts. So there's a variety of different jobs. And if you look over on When to Work and see all the different shifts and the descriptions of them and you don't understand them, feel free to either call me or email me and ask for more explanation. Once you have received your email from When to Work, you can start signing up for shifts. And okay, and then the next shift, or the next slide, sorry, shows you, yeah, the next one shows you what it looks like. So this is how you will sign in with your ID and your password. What you do need to remember, and then next slide, Jana, thank you, are the shifts are between 3 and 5 hours each. Some shifts will already be appointed to members in advance by the sale chair or one of her designees. Some shifts will require permission to sign up because you will need to go through some training, such as the cashiering shifts. And others you can just sign up for them. But what you need to remember is when you get into When to Work, you need to select a category that's called See Everyone's Schedule, because that will show you all of the available shifts highlighted in yellow. So you need to make sure that you select See Everyone's shifts. And then after you've signed up for your shifts, you will receive
Wendy, you've locked up.
Do you want me to continue or talk?
Yeah, I think so. It looks like her connection locked up.
If you don't attend your shift, you might have to pay an additional
Can you hear me
commission
now?
bill. Oh, good. Are you there, Wendy?
She dropped off.
And as a new technique this year, 2020, we will ask that everybody who comes for their shift will both need to sign in and sign out with either the sale chair or the assistant sale chair each shift. That's to make sure that you actually attend your shift and
You need your car.
you're not charged. You are charged an additional commission if you don't show up. We had some problems with that, and we really want to help people be responsible about showing up for the sale. So all of our shifts are critical.
Okay, it looks like Wendy's back with us.
Hello?
I believe you're back with us.
Oh,
Maribeth
okay.
just covered.
I heard
that-
Maribeth talking. I'm sorry. I think my internet just kind of went down and back up.
Yeah, you just kind of froze. No, we just finished off saying that you need to check in and check out with your shifts.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's right where I left off. And let's see, you need to check. I don't know where that was. I don't know how far along you got. I'm sorry.
Just go to the next slide, Wendy.
Okay. Okay. So after you have logged on, you want to be able to see everyone's schedule. I know people want to go in and say, that they want to see their own schedule, but you can't see your own schedule until you actually sign up to create a schedule. So make sure that you're in everyone's schedule. Make sure that you're in the proper time for the calendar, which is November 2nd through 8th. If it's, September 1st and you're signing up, you're not going to see any schedule because our sale will only be taking place through November 2nd through the 8th. Make sure that you have permissions to sign up for certain tasks as far as, being a computer check-in person or standards. Those require permission in advance. Don't hesitate to contact me. My email's there, and I'm guessing at some point my phone number will be there as well. Either way, contacting me is fine because I just retired this year, so I've got a lot of free time on my hand. And at check-in, when you arrive at check-in, then you will have to confirm your number of shifts. So you'll be moving down a line of people, and everyone will be asking you for different information, and I will be asking you to confirm your shifts. And then make sure both your check-in and your checkout shifts of your shift on the days that you work are accurate. And if you show the next slide, Jana, that's the type of a typical shift for the week of the sale. That's what it will look like. So that's what When to Work will send you. So it'll tell you the hours you're working, the day you're working, and the type of job you're doing. And the next shift or slide just is a big thank you to everyone. We're all volunteers and we're all in this together, and we're hoping for a very successful sale. Does anybody have any questions? Well, if you do later on, feel free to contact me.
I do.
Yeah.
Angela does.
Once again, if we have programs this year, I just want to make sure that we have the time set Wednesday through Saturday. I think that's what we've done in the past, 10 to noon and then 2 to 4. So it kind of complies with the shifts that are running. as well. So if we can have that on the when to work, the volunteering for
Demonstrations?
yeah.
Yes, those will be on there because they were on there last year.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that the times are 10 to noon and 2 to 4.
4. Yep.
And they're like, you know, they coincide with what the shifts are, so that there won't be any overlap, so that if they want to volunteer, you know, and they have an afternoon shift, they can volunteer in the morning. And then if they want to volunteer in the morning because they in etc., you know, vice versa.
Okay, I will double check it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Those are always fun things that those are a good thing to have around. I want to add to Wendy's presentation. If you didn't get written down what her email address is, you can always email to salehelp@handweaversofboulder.org. And if it's a Wendy kind of a question or a when to work kind of a question, we'll make sure that the email gets forwarded directly to Wendy. So again, if it's easier just to remember the Sale Help as an email address, that's the purpose for it, is to make sure that we will forward to Wendy all the things that she needs. So you got that as another option than just contacting her directly. Either way will work. And Wendy, how many years have you been doing the when to work? It's been a long time.
Yeah, probably, I don't know, 30, maybe 30 years. But there are a lot of people who have been volunteering at the sale for the same number of years, just not doing the same job. Yeah. Well, now that I know it, I feel like I should keep doing it.
We agree.
Okay, well, we are ready for our final bit of the presentation. After you've put all of your stuff into the Artist Data Entry program, we then take that inventory and upload it into a system called Simple Consign. And Simple Consign is not something that you will be dealing with directly, except for one thing. Simple Consign takes care of our cashier software and everything, but the part of it that you will be interacting with is Consignor Access. And let me just find Consignor Access. Consignor Access is the ability to see your inventory real time during the sale. You can log in to see what has sold, what hasn't sold, or maybe determine what you want to bring to late check-in on Friday. On the day after check-in, you will receive an email with your Consignor Access invitation. This invitation contains all of the information you need to log in so you can see your inventory real time during the sale. The first piece of information you will need is the link to the Consignor Access site. You will also need to make note of the following information: the Consignor ID, which is the same as your PIN for the Artist Data Entry program, and the password. This password is only valid on the Consignor Access site. Open your browser and enter the link from your invitation. This will bring you to the Consignor Access login page. You will then enter in your Consignor ID and password. Then click on the Sign Me In button. The first page you come to is the Consignor Access dashboard. On this page, you will see the consignor balance. This is the amount of money that you have earned so far from the sale. You will also see something called Store Credit. Store Credit is not something that we use, so there will never be an amount here. When you click on Activity in the left side menu, this will bring you to the Account Activity page. This page shows the details of everything you have sold in the sale so far. At the top of the page, you will see the consignor amount, which is what you have earned in the sale. Fees and adjustments. We do not have any fees and adjustments, so this will always be 0. The net total is the difference between the two. For each item sold, you will see the price the item sold for, what the Guild's take is under store amount, and what you earned on the item under consignor amount. You can easily search for an item by typing a search term in the search box. You can also sort the columns by clicking on the column header. Sorting can be ascending or descending. One of the columns you might find confusing is the SKU. This is a stock keeping unit number, and this is something Simple Consign automatically assigns when we upload the inventory from the Artist Data Entry program. It is not something that you need to know about, but you will see it in Consignor Access. If you are looking for the inventory number from the Artist Data Entry program, look at the item description. The first part of the description is this number. When you click on Items in the left side menu, this will bring you to the Consigned Items page. This page contains all of the items that were uploaded to Simple Consign from the Artist Data Entry program. Like the Activities page, you can find an item either by typing a search term in the search box, or you can sort columns, ascending and descending, by clicking on the column headers. One thing you will notice on this page is the status column. There are 3 possible status values you will see for your items. Active, which means the item was checked into the sale at check-in but has not sold yet. Sold, of course, means that the item has sold. And another one is returned. We use the return status to show that the item was uploaded but the item did not come in with check-in. It does not mean that a sold item was returned. The last thing I want to cover is how to change your password. You may have seen the recommendation in the invitation earlier. Also, it will mean that you can have a password that is easier to remember than FY27RJ26. To change your password, you will need to access your profile. Click on the arrow in the upper right corner near your name. There will be a drop-down menu and you will select Edit Profile from it. When you get to the profile page, scroll down to the bottom where you will see Change Your Password. Enter your new password and click on Save. We recommend that you use a good password. Make it at least 12 characters long. Use a number, a lowercase character, and an uppercase character. And use a password that is unique to this site. Do not reuse a password that you have used on another site. If you have forgotten your password, go to the login screen and click on the Forgot Your Password link. When you get to the Forgot Password page, enter in your consignor ID and click Send Email. You will get an email at the same address that you received the invitation. This email will have a new temporary password that you can use to access the site. This concludes our overview of Consignor Access. For more information about the sale, you can visit the Guild's homepage at handweaversofboulder.org. You will be able to find this presentation on the website. You can also contact us through salehelp@handweaversofboulder.org. Okay, that is everything we have for you today. Are there any questions?
Thank you. And I just want to add in, again, Jana said this at the beginning, but for people who are new to the Guild and haven't to the sale and haven't participated yet, that whole Consignor Access thing, you don't get it, you won't have access to it, you don't get the email until after you've checked in items for the sale. So there's no prep that you need to do about that ahead of time. Just wait until check-in happens, and then that evening, Jana does magic and starts sending out all of has Consignor Access send those things out. So.
Well, okay. I thank everybody for coming, and all of this will be up on the website underneath the sale page on the main website. And there's actually a little link to the CATS presentations, and that's where you'll find this. That's all I have, so I guess we're done. Thanks, Angela.
And C, thank you very much for doing the recording for us. After you're get in touch with us later, and we'll talk about transferring that recording around. Thank you.